Oh, I want to ask you your feedback. What did you think about that verses? Did you get to see it?
See, now you know, put me on blast, and see somebody like me should have watched it all, right? So basically,
Mhm.
I got to give a preface because everybody gonna call me out on this if I don't. I got it yesterday. Well, first off, my B day was last week on Wednesday, so I took a little time off to get into the music. So yesterday, I went to the studio and I recorded like 5, 6 songs. I just locked in, you know, while the Browns were playing, taking a L, which I'm glad I ain't see that game because it hurt. So by the time I got home, you know, it was pretty much about the time for it to start. And I got into it a little bit, but then I got snatched away by the music. You know, my music, I'm checking out mixes. You know, I'm in the zone. Anybody that's an artist, you know, when you make like about 4 or 5 songs and you feeling them, you're trying to see what you're gonna do next. So I look up and I'm like, dang, I missed it. So I'm gonna tap in today. But from what I saw, I mean, they both were killing it. They both were killing it. I know that from what I heard, I saw a little bit of it, but from what I watched and read, everybody's breath control was on point. Like these dudes are like grown, seasoned veterans, man, and they still coming with it. Like it was a great example of what hip hop can look like at a certain age.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I
What's
mean,
your
it's
thought?
like
What's your thought
it's
though? Who you
open.
think won?
I mean, I was rolling with KRS-One from the
Okay.
beginning. I mean, beforehand, but it was about even. It wasn't no
Mm-hmm.
this one or this one. Like Kane, he was doing like acapellas and flowing. He was flowing fast
Ooh.
because I watched the interview. I think Crazy Bone said
Yes,
Big Daddy
yes. Say that's
Kane
how
is
he's.
first.
That's what birthed his style. And see, that's what's
Yeah,
so raw about it. You can't even tell that from Bones' flow. But that just shows you how hip hop they are. So like when people don't understand how hip hop could touch any region, some artists just say, "I'm gonna do it this way." Because you know when we came up, when you hear somebody, you automatically know where they from. Like, oh, that dude's from Cali. That dude's from New York. It's not like that now. You know, it's like it's so universal, man. A kid in New York will be bouncing his floor around and vibing to something that sound like it's from here or from down south or something. But back then, everybody kind of had a defined regional flow. So to hear Cray say, I started the basis of my style from listening to a Kane song and saying, man, if you take this and just do it all the way through, and then they morphed that into something else. They added the harmony. They added their slang. What's going on in the East Side? You know, East 99. You know that was crazy to me. That blew my mind too, man. No pun intended. That was crazy to me. Shout out to Craig Jack, your boss.
yeah. Shout out to Crazy Bone, one of the coldest to ever do it. But I mean, Kane
Mm.
just was flowing like his acapellas and his verses was nice. But then KRS, he was freestyling in there. You know you could tell, like you say, some was written, but
I
his shit
gotta
was just
I
off the
gotta
top.
check it out because I got a project called the Off Top Champ. You know, so I got a project.
Mhm.
It's 13 tracks deep. I dropped this like about 2 years ago, and I literally every song on there I just did it off the top of the dome. It was a challenge. I just wanted to challenge myself. Shout out to OCR Beats. And basically all I did was while I'm in the lab in between making that album I was telling you about Back to the Essence, I was recording on the beats that weren't going on the album because he had so much fire he was giving me. I'm like, nah, this is not sitting around. And so I wound up like recording freestyles off the top of the dome. Most of them were straight through. Some I might do one verse, stop, then come back in and do another verse. So it was a challenge to me because I always said I wanted to make a project where every song was off the top of the dome. So, you know, I have to watch it now because I ain't know KRS-One was taking it there like that. I know he can do that, but I didn't know he would do that in his versus battle. That's hip hop right there.
Yeah, and then KRS when he had some bangers. He had a couple more bangers than Kane did. So Chris his career was a little bit longer, I guess, in that
True,
regard. So it was about
true.
even though, and from my perspective, they both was going hard. And I was gonna talk about some of the tracks that I heard. You had sent me a couple different links, but
Yeah,
some of the ones I remember that Woo Sharp, I liked it that. You could
yeah.
talk
So let
about that a
me,
little bit. Is that
man,
older cut or that project?
I, I want to speak on it all the way. So first off, the record Woo Sharp was produced by OCR Beats. We did that song about 2 years ago. The campaign for that song is never over. We probably gonna mess around and shoot a visual for it and try to take it out here a little more. So basically, with Woo Sharp, like I said, I came up in Cleveland, so I'm listening to everything. but I got on the hip hop scene trying to be the dopest MC ever. The way that Wu Tang hit the scene with the first album and the second album, and in between that, all the solo projects. If you were taking MCing seriously, you were messing with Wu Tang. And then finding out, like as I dig deeper into it at that time, finding out that they had ties to us, to Ohio, with the Steubenville ties and all of that. And then you got these crews like Killer Army and all that. Some of them were actually from Steubenville. Like it made me pay pure attention to the Wu. So that song is just me. Like I say, my style is influenced by Bone. You might hear me Midwest bounce a little bit. That song is just me paying homage to another influence from when I came up. So like when you hear that song, the main thing I wanted to do was make sure that I gave a tribute without trying to rap like them. So like, cause other people would get on there and try to rap like them. The beat, I heard the beat. It has swords in it. It sounded like a Wu Tang beat. I'm like, OCR, who using this beat? Oh, you good? I'm like, hey, let's get this going. So that song, I like when I do this with music. That song, I actually like wrote that song like a movie. That wasn't just no sit down. That song might have took like 2, 3 weeks to write because I would start with the first verse, go do something else in life, come back to the beat, second verse. When you hear the song, you gotta almost be a Wu Tang head, a Wu Tang fan to understand the song. Or a lot of the lines I'm saying it'll go over your head. But for the dudes, it's like Wu Tang fanatics. I wouldn't even consider myself to the level that a lot of these dudes are to. Like some of the fanatics, they can tell you when a song came out. Oh, this, that, and the third. They got the tattoos, but I'm still like a fan. You know what I'm saying? So basically, that song was me paying tribute, and really, the goal is just for one of the OG members to hear that. I just want them to hear, like, dude, this is how you influence a random MC in Cleveland, Ohio. You probably didn't even know. If you didn't know, now you know. Check this song out. But yeah, Woo Sharp, that's on my Bandcamp as well. I'm glad you feel that. That's in the past 3 years, that's probably top five reaction as far as songs when people tell me about stuff.
Right,
And shout out to
right.
Wu Tang.
Oh yeah, big shout out to the Wolf, most definitely.
Hmm.
CLE.
Oh yeah, clever lines every time. Yeah, clever lines every time. Clever lines every day. Yeah, so that's just me. I got so many songs about the crib, man. We done made so many Cleveland anthems. Any MC from here, you made a Cleveland anthem. And not even just
Right.
MC, just dudes rapping like, and that's I'm gonna be funny real quick. What's funny about it is when you make that one Cleveland banger, everybody would have come to you for another song about Cleveland. It's like, fam,
Yeah.
let's rap about something else, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not just going around. I don't want to rap about the Rita and the rapping on every song. I don't want to rap about Tower City on every song. But
Right.
we had the song called Keep It Cleve. I had another song called Still Repping the Land back in the day. And this CLE was just like a culmination of those types of anthems. It was a way to shout out the CLE MC, the CLE lyricist, right? Clever lines every time. That came off of my project called WITS, which just stands for, it's still for Wahoo's in the Snow, but it also stands for We Improvise to Survive. So it's just about being witty.
Mhm.
And so
Right.
CLE, when I say clever lines every time, that ties into the project being called Wits. So that's really what that's about. I shouted out my grandfather that passed away. His name was really Cleveland. So like it's just one of them type of songs to me, man. It's gonna always resonate with me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. You got a nice little catalog, man. You've been
Yeah,
putting in some work over the years.
On that band camp, I'm gonna have to count one day, man. My boy was clowning with me like, "You got 30 albums on there." I'm like, "It ain't that many, but it's a lot though, a lot of projects."